Greetings and salutations. This is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello.
And we're having a look today at English Civil War Battalia Starter Army.
Yeah.
Why Battalia? Sounds foreign. Probably means something to do with the English Civil War. I don't know.
Yeah.
Battalia? Battalion? Battalion? I don't know. Anyway, this is the starter army from Warlord Games. We've already painted some up. There. That's what they look like assembled. But we're going to do an unboxing to find out everything you get in this box. Because it's awesome. And we like it, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to get the camera to stay straight, but it's all wobbly. Right, so we'll just move these guys out of the way. Off you go. This is the starter army, and it's got 80 pikes and musket in it, and 24 cavalry, some firelocks, musketeers.
I should get them.
I don't worry about it.
No.
Alright, some plastic bases as well, which is cool, which we didn't use because we didn't. Right, so
Crush one of the sheets.
here we go. This has got a huge amount of figures in it. It's unbelievable. And now just bear with me a second. There we go. Right. So we have flags to start off with. Lots of nice flags. We have nice flags and then tattered flags, which is a bit silly because you could just do that to a normal flag. You wasted a perfectly good amount of space. You could have added additional flags.
Well, by the looks of it, they really took pride in doing this box.
Yeah, they did. So that's one of the flags, and here's another flag. This is horrible, dirty parliamentarians, and this is great, awesome royalist. This is proper.
They're almost exactly the same. Not gonna lie.
No, they're completely different. Look, they are clearly royalist flags, and they are clearly parliamentarian flags. Can you tell the difference? Yes, there you go. So these are royalist flags, they're parliamentarian flags, and that's it. They're pretty cool. Awesome. Right, so figures. We have huge amounts of figures, so we'll go with cavalry first because it's the first thing in the box. I seem to remember we have done an unboxing of something to do with English Civil War at some point. I think infantry. So I'll not dwell too much on everything, I'll just do an overview. So this is a cavalryman, and there he is, and he's got a sash and armour. So you've got a decent amount of collection. If you got 24 of these, so technically you could do one as cuirassier and the others as infantry. It's entirely dragoon type cavalry. But I should mention that right up to actually slightly beyond the Spanish succession, the English cavalry had cuirass, which is the armoured thing that this guy's got on here, the armour plate. You may notice in a lot of like Spanish succession, War of Independence, all that sort of stuff, the soldiers look like they don't have a cuirass. The cavalry actually did have a cuirass under their jacket, so they wore the coat over the top of a cuirass. So these guys could all have cuirass, but it just looks like only one does. So that's just an interesting thing to note if anyone's interested. But we actually wore cuirass throughout, and some troops in the Napoleonic Wars wore a jacket over cuirass as well. But really, we'd given up using it by the later years. I think riding around Spain because it was hot, we gave up wearing it because, it's hot.
Yeah.
And the French did, so we didn't, so we could move faster. I'm guessing. But it makes sense. The British only do things when they really need to, really. So there you go. You can use these for any side. Obviously, everything in this box can be used for anything. It's entirely up to you how you paint them. They can be used for royalists, they can be used for parliamentarian, it doesn't matter. It's not important. Right. So I'll drop these here. This is a firelock. Now I do know we've done an unboxing of these because we bought these for our Call of Cthulhu game. Do you remember?
Yes.
Yes. So we use these for our Call of Cthulhu game. So we have done an unboxing of these, so I'll not dwell too much. It's basically a firelock. You've got two options of weapon. You have a Are they both firelock?
Yeah.
Are they
Exactly
both
the same,
firelock?
just-
Right.
just hold
So
them differently.
one's firing and one's not firing.
The one thing I really find cool about these is that they've done it with none of the figures. Is that the arms are together already for you, so you just got to like put it on, and when you put it on, it's such a tight fit. It's perfect.
These are your
Well-
favourites then, are they?
Yeah. Apart from which we'll get into later, the pikemen.
Yeah.
They're atrocious.
Right, we'll get on to, well, pikemen, I suppose. We haven't got a huge amount to choose from because there is a lot of replication in this box. I'll just get rid of these. Right, these are the horses. These are horses, and these are the horses for the cavalry. I was trying to think of something clever, but there's nothing clever. They're just horses. They're boring. There's nothing interesting about them at all. One thing I do like is the pistols. You see the pistols here and there, and that is because you carry 2 braces of pistols. And in the English Civil War, how you fought, in fact, how the British generally fought as soon as the musket was invented, you ride up to the enemy and you shoot them, then you run away. You don't try and get in it to the enemy because they might hit you with a spiky thing.
Yeah.
So you run up to them, shoot them, a bit like French cuirassiers. That's how they fought. You ride up to the enemy, shoot them, and if you made a hole, then you draw your sword and you hack and slash, and you hit as many of them as possible and hopefully win the day. Otherwise, you run away like a brave soldier who is strategically withdrawing. Big problem for the English Civil War is cavalry. The term hussar would be better to describe English cavalry during the English Civil War, if you understand the term hussar. The cavalry were not particularly easy to control. English cavalry have never been easy to control. They tend to run off. You give them an order and they go, and you never see them again for the rest of the day. So the English cavalry tended to charge, do its thing, and then go off and do something else. If it was do its own thing, it wouldn't come back, wouldn't be under control once you sent it in. Cromwell did do something to change that with the Model Army. They had orders to come back after fighting. It's very un-British of them, and the soldiers, cavalry, sometimes actually did come back. Not always. Quite often Cromwell would send them in and the cavalry would just leave, go for dinner or something, go find a pub. But sometimes they did actually return, which meant technically Cromwell had 2 lots of cavalry because you could count cavalry twice. Whereas the Royalists would only have cavalry once on the battlefield. So the parliamentarians can technically double the number of cavalry they have by using them again. So it's an interesting thing about the English Civil War. So we'll leave the command till last, shall we? And get straight on to the infantry. So here are the infantry. And you were saying you had something to say about these guys.
Well, first let's go on to the pikemen, which is at the top.
Pikemen are at the top.
The pikemen, they're really good. The ones that are like about to stab someone.
Yeah.
And the ones that are holding it, they have a tiny little... Show where the arms for them. Where are the arms? There's 2 of them there. Where are the others? Okay, oh there you are. Yeah, you turn it around. They already have the arms on, and you have to stick the pike, right in that little hand and make sure it balances until it sets.
Yeah.
That's a pain.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I actually was a pikeman in a previous life. I actually was a pikeman for the Sealed Knot. And the amount of times I fell over and got crushed, my breastplate had holes in it. Well, not holes, but pike-shaped dints where the pike would come through from the guy in front and hit you. I wasn't at the front. I wasn't at the back either. I was in the middle.
Oh no!
So I never knew what was going on. Apparently, some of them were really good games, but we do reenactments and stuff. And I was hit in the chest so many times when we went in. We were told that there were 2 ways of going in: the brave way of going in and the pansy way of going in. And the pansy way of going in was aiming your pikes forward, all together, and you march forwards. That's pansy. The brave way is to go in with your pikes up, using the weight and just body slamming the other regiment and trying to push them over. Now that's hilarious when you do push them over, but sometimes you fall over and it's not pleasant being in a pile. We had several broken arms and legs.
Oh my god.
Yeah, people were injured. There's always someone went to hospital. but it was fun. And if you didn't, these pikes don't. There's only a few helmets. I just tell you from experience, you do not be a pikeman if you do not have a helmet. You want a breastplate and a helmet. You're not messing about. If you don't have a helmet without actually fighting the English Civil War, you're probably going to die.
Yep.
So people in the English Civil War would surely have had a helmet. They must have done, or they would have died. Again, I mentioned about the cavalry. All these pikemen will have breastplates underneath their jacket. They all wear breastplate. No pikeman doesn't wear breastplate. Apart from anything else, when you're pushing with a pike, you will crush. Your rib cage will be crushed. You will die. So in real life, you actually have to have a breastplate in order to use the weight of your body on the pike to push. And that's what being a pikeman's all about, and that's what you have to do. Also, the most terrifying thing in my life, probably not, but is when you form a ring. When the enemy have cavalry, pikemen would form. Your regiment would form a ring, and it would be a circle, and you would have one pike and two muskets, and then one pike and two muskets all the way around 3 times repeated to make a full hedgehog, right? And I once had some idiot next to me was smoking a cigarette, and he was waving the cigarette around talking about whatever he'd done last week, and he put the cigarette in the pan of the musket next to my face. And it ignited in my face, and I lost my eyebrows. I would have lost my hair if I hadn't been wearing a helmet. So yeah, that's in peacetime. Imagine real life. But these things happen. It's just fun. We only went for the beer and the hog roast at the end of the day, to be honest. And it's hilariously fun. And you get to sleep in a naff tent, and it's great. But that's from my own experiences. Also, another thing I discovered was pikemen move very fast. We could move very fast even over obstacles. If it came to crossing a hedge, you'd have a little hole in the hedge. Each rank in the line would march through the line, through the hole, and you'd reform on the other side and start marching. Your muskets, now they don't do that. The muskets fall over the top of the hedge, fall upside down, get lost, wander off into the wrong field. Your muskets are useless. They're utterly useless. The only thing they're good for is firing and making huge amounts of smoke so you can't see the enemy cavalry because they're terrifying. So if you could feel the horses, you can't see them once your muskets have fired because you've got a cloud of cordite in front of you. So that's the only good thing about muskets. I think muskets are useless, and the people who in the Seal Knot who buy muskets and are musketmen are idiots. I don't like any of them. You need to be a pikeman. You're not a man unless you're a pikeman. Although you are really brave if you're on a horse. Really brave if you're on a horse. Because it's amazing how many wires you can find.
Oh, God.
The amount of horsemen that get dehorsed with stupid wires stretched across. That's dumb. Anyway, that's nothing to do with the box. Yeah. I'm just talking. So, yes, these are the guys. How easy are they to put together?
The musketmen aren't that easy.
No?
No, because you have the musket arm you have to stick on, and then the other arm, a separate one, has a little knobbly bit, which you have to insert into the rifle somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. You see, I don't remember assembling these when I
little hole in the rifle there.
Yeah.
You have to try and get it in there. And it's not helpful when the gravity goes against you.
Yeah, gravity's a pain, isn't it? Last but not least, we have the command.
They're easy to do.
And they're easy to do. And I do remember doing a whole video on these, so I'll not bore you with them. They're just command. You've got a decent amount of hats. You've got a nice flag there, and then you have the standard, and you have a officer's pointy thing. The officer stands at the end of the line and shouts loudly. I know this from experience. He shouts loudly, and occasionally someone will say, "What's going on?" And they'll say, "Everything's fine," and you knew you were stuffed at that point. And he'd shout something loudly, and no one knew what he said because he was, and you'd go, "All right, I didn't know what he said," and you'd wait for other people to start moving because they'd understood. and you all sort of move generally in the right direction, and the guy in charge of the regiment in the posh hat, he would be shouting in anger at you, and you don't know why he's shouting at you because the officer had told you the wrong thing, or you didn't understand him and you marched in the wrong way. Yeah, it's hilarious being in a Pike column. Just massive amounts of fun. But they're great figures. They're great. And just as a last thing, here are some assembled. These are a commission, so these are all assembled. We do skirmish games, so ours are all based individually. So that's one of the musket units. And here's, you didn't see that. And that's one of the Pike units. And here is the command, which I've done up like that, as per spec. So, but you can base them in all sorts of different ways. These ones were spare figures from the box, and these are the Voltigeurs. Oh. Yes, they're Voltigeurs.
They're a firelock muskets.
Well, it could be French. It could be It could be on holiday. It could be mercenaries.
I'm just used to seeing when there's a separate unit running around. To me, they're Voltigeurs.
You're playing too much Napoleonics, mate. I'm telling you. Yes, so he's a Frenchman who came to England to fight for whichever side of the English Civil War. And last but not least, we have a couple of cavalry, all nicely done up. These are all new model army troops, so they're all in red. Well, sort of red. It's slightly darker red for a new model army, and that's it. That's the entire box. So, what do you think overall? I love this box.
It's great. I did like doing them.
Yeah, if you get 2 of these boxes, you have 2 complete armies, more or less, and then you just buy a couple more regiments. But you can definitely play a game with everything in this box, even if you're basing to Pike and Shot. You still have enough troops to play with. It's great value for money. It's great, and I've talked far too much, so I will leave now. So if you are interested in any of this kind of stuff and you don't want to do it yourself, if you check our link to our shop, we have an eBay account, and you'll find duplicates of these on there. We sell them by the regiment, so just go and have a look there. We've got all sorts of stuff, Napoleonics and all sorts of stuff. It's just, with Plague and everything, we've just decided to branch a bit. Branch out in 28mm more, yeah. Because normally we'd only do like 40k and 28mm, and so we're branching out into other scales, into other periods. So that's it.
So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think of the Pike and Shot Battaglia Starter Army. That's everything from me.
And everything from him.
Bye.
Yeah, you forgot that, didn't you?
See ya.
See, I say everything from him, and you say goodbye. But when we do it the other way around, we say, no, never mind. Goodbye.
Bye.